If our Wi-Fi's there, yes it is. We are live. So give me a hello, hi, good morning if you're coming in. Hope you're well. Friday already, I always say that, but maybe I just need to actually change my perception of how fast time goes. I thought about it, I'm always like, wow, it's Thursday already, wow, it's Friday already. Generally does feel like time is going really fast at the moment. Speaking of which, on Monday we have our free 5-day Kickstart beginning for ladies over 40 and beyond who want to drop a few pounds, kickstart their motivation, get into some routine and structure with that. Link will be in the description. Anyway, I wanted to talk today about this comes from based on something I used to do. So when I was working in public health for a diabetes education program in the NHS, people used to come in, morning Caroline, people used to come in when they were diagnosed with type 2 diabetes and come for an education day, okay? Morning Stella, come for an education day. And this was great. The information was sound, like very science-based, very evidence-based, if you like. And the thing that I felt uncomfortable with, and I think is a problem now, is how, in a lot of advice given, is how, one, generic it is, some of the advice given, and two, how the words used, like moderation, can be perceived different ways. And as a result of that, the genericness, the moderation, people leave super motivated and have a great day, but I know that in a week or so they'd have done nothing. And that always makes me feel uncomfortable. And I knew that something was missing. Stella, liking getting up early. Yeah, bed early. Great stuff. Morning, Jane. And I knew that something was missing here. And it's the accountability, and not just for their results. This is going to sound weird and quite selfish, but actually because I'm unable to see their progress. Because I love, more than I give myself credit for, I guess, I love seeing and hearing, getting messages from the results. And to an extent, sometimes I even question whether I put too much of my self-worth onto the results that other people get. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. It's important to separate sometimes, but it gives me so much energy and I can't deny that. I'm not going to pretend that I'm immune from that, but it really does. Yeah, so Stella said that's true, it's happened to me. I've been on many courses for a day where I leave feeling super motivated, but I'm left without like the practical nugget, really. Like there might be a few things you take from it, and I guess what I'm getting at here is, and this is for me the difference between people who get great results and people who maybe are left a bit still confused, is the way that, I preach like a moderation and suiting your lifestyle, really. However, if I was just to say eat in moderation, then the problem with that is your moderation is different to mine. Like, you could start to get into the habit then of going, well, it's everything in moderation. A few nuts there, they're healthy fats. They told me they were healthy fats. Then it gets to the stage where it's like, well, fruit's good for you. I'll just have another piece of fruit. Moderation, isn't it? Well, I've got to have some chocolate. I've got to have some chocolate because moderation. And then it becomes like this, almost like brain exploding, all I think about is food thing. And every decision we're having to make has to use willpower. Because we're like, well, I can eat anything in moderation. But then we haven't really defined moderation. Then you can get into listening to your body, and this is a great thing. Like, intuitive eating is a great thing. But what we need to understand is if you're eating intuitively, listening to your body, this isn't going to, very unlikely, result in weight loss, because it's not really a weight loss tool. It's more a relationship with food tool. And you're starting to feel how you feel around food situations. Really get to grips with listening to your body, asking great questions. What do you really fancy? How are you feeling? And the problem with this is if we just then go into like that, just listen to your body when you're hungry, is a lot of foods are processed for our pleasure. things like cheese, peanut butter, I can eat so much of that, and I eat them in my diet. But if I'm not aware that these foods will not fill me up, like, like cheese more so than peanut butter, by the way. Peanut butter, I can go to town on that. It scares me how much I could put away. Put it that way. Yeah, I wouldn't like someone to challenge me to a peanut butter event because I really worry that I would do very well. Anyway, very calorific. Not that it's a bad thing. Like I said, in moderation, if you portion it, and I do. I sometimes have it on top of pancakes I make, and that's fine. I get the taste, etc. But if I'm not aware of that, if I'm not aware that these foods aren't just going to tell me that I'm full, you can constantly be overeating. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad thing if you're starting to build your relationship again. Morning Stella, starting to build your relationship with foods again. So it might be that, and I'm going off on a bit of a tangent here, that for some people, they're like, you only eat chocolate when you're stressed and tired, or in the evening when you just happen to be stressed and tired. So if you only eat crisps, chocolate, then you're nearly always going to be feeling better after eating crisps and chocolate, because you're always stressed and tired at that time. And when people say I feel like I have no willpower, you will be more tired in the evening. That's normal. So then it's like, okay, what can I do instead that's going to make me feel better, feel good? Like, am I hungry? And all these questions start to come in. And this is where, like I said, people would not really do much with the information. But as good as information it is, you can get all that information on Google, on the NHS website. Like, it's very evidence-based, most of it. But sometimes it is a bit too vanilla for us to make specific changes. And this is where I often go into focusing on one thing at a time. It might seem like you're putting this one thing on a pedestal, but actually if you start to build that momentum and start doing it, it can start to go, oh yeah, I'm feeling a bit more like I'm focusing on doing something. For example, just yesterday, spoke to one of the ladies, she knows what to eat at meals. I could go to town all day and, protein, all that stuff. So 4 p.m. is the key thing. So 4 p.m. is that key snack time. So what do we need to do? Okay, so she normally maybe has a coffee, and then she's kind of like, kind of want something else now. And she has something that's almost like she's starting to ruin her dinner. Okay, so there's two things here. Number one, write down the cost of eating when you're not hungry / bored / comfort eating. What's the cost? Actually, monetary cost, because I don't think we realize sometimes how much our comfort eating habit actually costs us in terms of money. Then also write down what it costs you in terms of how you feel. Then what can you do instead? So what we decided to do, she's going to grab a coffee, like in a travel mug, and then go for a walk. If she can't go for a walk because of the weather, either brolly, or she has the coffee, then she does 10 minutes of exercise, because that always makes her feel better. Something is better than nothing. And exercise is quite often the fastest way to change the way you feel. As hard as it is to get started, I can guarantee that you'll feel better after. So, and that's why the exercise sessions next week in our 5-day Kickstart, which is free, by the way, starts Monday, are 10 minutes long. So you can fit them in when suits you. Although they go up early in the morning, so you can do them whenever suits you. Yeah, so I'm type 2 diabetes. Horrified that cannot seem to deal with it. All the more reason to do something, as my mother died of complications. Sorry to hear that. I eat nuts and fruit, chocolate, exactly what I do. What's going wrong? This is interesting. Yeah, it's it's almost like when you're given too much permission at the same time. You give yourself permission, but you almost need kind of guidelines. So I guess for me, and this is very subconscious what I do, is I might just if I make sure I have protein at every meal, and I aim for, say, 7 different vegetables a day, I have a glass of water with each meal. These are subconscious things that allow me to kind of have filling meals and feel quite satisfied at a meal. Then if I go as far as, right, in between meals, I'm only going to eat apples, right? And it sounds really weird, but I'm only allowed to eat apples in between meals. Like, Or today I'm just going to snack on apples if I get hungry. And I'm not saying do this, I'm just saying it's like a way to kind of just add a bit of structure, which is really easy. But where you can get bored of apples, I'm less likely to just keep going back. Because I'm like, right, I'm just going to eat apples in between. So I might have 2 apples and then I'm a bit like appled out. So they're like little things where I'm like, all of a sudden I've turned these principles into actual guidelines that give me permission to eat the foods I want because I've just chosen apples, but I've just got a bit of structure within it. So I'm having to make fewer choices. The fewer choices I have to make, the less willpower I have to use. I'm not putting apples on a pedestal here. I always feel better after eating peanut butter, slice of cheese in the evenings, yeah. I can see it's hand. Yeah. So a good thing to do with that in terms of snacking in the evening is potentially looking at your meals. Are you getting enough protein? Are you getting enough vegetables at the meal? Then just having kind of one thing, like I will just tonight, if I want to eat after dinner, I'm going to eat this one food. And it sounds really weird, but you're giving yourself permission to eat that food, but at the same time, what you're doing is almost allowing taste fatigue to come in. Because if you're eating like peanut butter and a slice of cheese, and then you want some nuts, and then you want something else, it's almost like you're giving yourself. That's why we eat more at buffet. Like taste is will bring on satisfaction and kind of brain hunger, if you like, because it's enjoyable at the time. And then you can go into all sorts, like write down in the morning and the evening, like why you want to change these habits, like who else benefits, and then you can say, okay, who else benefits? Family, write down their names. They benefit from it. Okay. Do they deserve the best version of you? Often, yes. Okay, how can you be the best version of you then? Well, I need to get to bed at that time. Do this. Because of them now. It's often easier to do it for them, weirdly, than you, because we like to use ways of maybe saying sometimes, this is wrong in my opinion, but I think it's human nature because I do it too, that we don't deserve it sometimes. We don't deserve these results, but they do. So then we can do it. Right, that's a bit of a tangent, but I hope that helped. And just today, come up with one thing you're going to do. One thing to focus on today that you feel is going to give you some guidelines within the structure. And remember, it's literally 2 days until the group closes for our 5-day free Kickstart, which starts on Monday. So if you want more details on that, I'll put the link in the description, sorry. I'm off now for our quiz morning workout at 6:15. So we're off for our quiz morning workout. So have a great day. If you want to join us, link in the description. Any questions, let me know, and speak soon. No worries, Stella. Take care.